He struggled with his mental health and was not supposed to own a weapon. We continue to learn more about the gunman in last week's shooting in Middleton as the victims continue to recover.
And Madison families want to know where their loved ones are after 9 immigration arrests over the weekend without warning.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It's Monday, September 24th, and we had a gorgeous peek of the sun all weekend. Woke up to another gorgeous round orb in the sky.
It almost felt like the sun was out this morning.
No kidding.
It was so bright. It's a full moon this morning across southern Wisconsin. It's setting as we speak, getting pretty close to the horizon, but Jerry Davis snapped this photo yesterday evening as the full moon was rising. You see the deer in the picture as well, eating from the cornfield.
Barely.
Yeah, it's there, but it's pretty cool. It was very bright out this morning, so thanks, Jerry, for sending that one in. We have temperatures that are in the 50s this morning, 52 here in Madison, 54 in Mineral Point and Janesville, 51 in the Dells. A nice warm-up, just a continuation of the weather that we had over the weekend. Temperatures will climb into the mid-70s with lots of sun this afternoon. The exception will be far southeastern Wisconsin, which could see some clouds move in later today. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. We'll see if anything has changed. Looks like there are some slowdowns northbound on Stoughton Road, but otherwise no major accidents to report right now. If you are traveling into Madison, I didn't see any accidents around the area, so you're still going at posted speeds on all those major routes into the city.
Boy, if it has to be Monday, you couldn't ask for a prettier one, huh?
True. Very true.
All right. Thanks, Addie.
You're welcome.
We start this morning in Middleton, where workers are hoping to return to work later this week after last week's shooting at WTS Paradigm. 2
victims from Wednesday's shooting are out of the hospital this morning. A third person is still there, though upgraded to fair condition from critical. The shooter, WTS employee Anthony Tong, was killed in crossfire with police. Officers confiscated hundreds of rounds of ammunition and gun accessories from his home last week. A 2004 affidavit from South Dakota shows that Tong's concealed carry license was revoked that year for mental health reasons.
In response to last week's shooting, dozens of students and neighbors from the Middleton area are joining lawmakers to call for stricter gun control regulations. They held a die-in at the state capitol yesterday, lying on the ground under the rotunda while one person read the names of people killed in gun violence situations. The group also wrote notes to Governor Walker and left them on his door. Governor Walker hasn't commented on gun policy in particular following last week's shooting. The organizers of yesterday's event say they wanted to highlight all gun-related crimes, including accidental discharges and domestic violence, along with mass shootings.
Local lawmakers and organizations are looking for ways to support the immigrant community here in Madison as immigration enforcement makes more arrests across the state. Voces de la Frontera counts at least 9 arrests in Madison so far. 2 area lawyers say they're working pro bono to help out, but their plates are pretty full at this point. Families are still trying to figure out where their loved ones might have been taken. Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says ICE usually notifies his department when they're in the city, but they did not this time. Madison's school district released a statement yesterday saying it supports all of its students regardless of their immigration status.
6:04 right now, and a health clinic that provides treatment and checkups to low-income families in Rock County is hoping that more people will talk more about mental health.
The 3rd annual Southern Wisconsin Conference on Mental Health is offering workshops on everything from substance abuse to depression and more. Our Josh Sprider is live in Janesville this morning where it's taking place today. He's with one of the organizers talking about why this is so important. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Organizers are busy here at the Pontiac Center in Janesville getting ready for that conference, which is put on by HealthNet of Rock County. We've got Ian Hedges with us this morning to talk a little bit more about it. Ian, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
You bet. Talk a little bit about what you guys are going to be doing here at the Pontiac Center today.
Today we're going to be trying to present innovative solutions to kind of the mental health crisis that's occurring without southern Wisconsin, because right now psychiatric conditions are the top cause of hospitalization in our area. We have the highest rate, one of the highest rates of opioid overdoses in the state. So we really want to bring innovative solutions to clinicians, stakeholders that are coming through today.
So this is the third year that you guys are putting this conference on. What's kind of changed over the year, and what kind of are you kind of focusing on today?
Today, what we're trying to focus more on is criminality and the fact that many of the people that we are sending to our criminal justice system are people with behavioral health issues. And so we want to focus on diversion and lowering recidivism. And so this is a great opportunity for everybody, whether it be law enforcement, mental health clinicians, and our government officials to come and learn more about that.
So we've got about 15 seconds, but why should people care? Why is this a big deal that we should be focusing on?
Because anybody that we know could be struck with a mental health condition, and for us to be able to respond in the get-go is super important. And so we hope to give our community the tools that they need in order to do that.
All right, Ian. Well, you'll be joining us again coming up here at 6:30. You can find everything you need to know about the conference right now at channel3000.com. Back to you in the studio.
Very important conversation that doesn't happen enough. All right, our Josh Spreiter reporting live for us. Thanks, Josh.
There's a first alert traffic reminder for anyone taking the Beltline to the interstate today. The westbound Beltline heading into the interstate interchange will be closed starting at 8 o'clock tonight. That closure goes until 4:30 tomorrow morning. This is for maintenance work around there. You can see the detour right there. Westbound traffic under the interstate's also going to be closed as well. So the detour will take drivers north on the interstate to Highway 30 and Stoughton Road, the northbound interstate ramp to the westbound Beltline, and the southbound interstate ramp from the Beltline will also be shut down.
6:06 your time now. The Brewers should be feeling pretty good heading into the final week of the regular season after that big win last night against the Pirates. They won 13-6, thanks to some help right here from Christian Yelich. That's a 3-run home run he hit in the top of the second inning. It gave the Brewers a 4-0 lead. Later, Travis Shaw hit a two-run homer. That was out of the park and into the Allegheny River. That momentum continued into the 6th inning when the Brewers had the bases loaded and a wild pitch along with an error, all on the same play, allowed all 3 runs to score. They're going to start their series against the Cardinals tonight, 2 games ahead of St. Louis in the race for the NL's wildcard spot.
Yikes, right there. That was not pretty. 6:07 right now, and Packers head coach Mike McCarthy will recap the team's first loss of the season this afternoon as one of his star players says the league is getting soft. The Packers fell to the Redskins 28-17 at Washington. Now former Minnesota Viking Adrian Peterson ran for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the 3rd week in a row, though, this will be the talk of the town today. Clay Matthews called for another roughing the passer penalty after sacking Washington's quarterback Alex Smith. He obviously was very distraught over that. He told reporters after the game he understands why rules were changed in the offseason to protect quarterbacks from dangerous hits, but he says the NFL is getting soft and is going in a direction a lot of people don't like. Packers are now 1-1-1. They host the Bills this coming Sunday.
Oof.
Yeah. Not the loss that they wanted or needed. And again, this will be an ongoing conversation, this whole roughing the passer thing now. And I can, he is visibly frustrated on the field yesterday, Clay.
Certainly, everyone is talking about that this morning. All right, 6:08 your time now. There are things we can all do to avoid getting seriously hurt from a fall. Now, what makes that even more important is the chances of you falling again go significantly up when you do it the first time. We'll get the doctor's advice coming up after the break.
Hopefully you have a chance to get out and enjoy the day because once the sun comes up around 10 to 7, it's going to be really nice out there. Hattie's looking ahead to some chances for rain and cooler temperatures. Her first alert forecast is coming up on News 3 this morning.
This
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. We have a nice cool start this morning, but the beautiful weather from the weekend will continue right into the start of this week. Take a look at highs yesterday, and for most of the state, it was an absolutely gorgeous day. Sunshine with highs in the 70s, a little cooler along the lakeshore with upper 60s there. Noticeably cooler, though, to the north in Superior, where high temperatures were about 20 degrees colder than what we had here in Madison yesterday. Now, our high temperature trend is going to stay mild for at least a couple of days. Rain is back in the forecast mainly on Tuesday, although there's a slight chance overnight tonight. But then after that, starting on Wednesday, it does turn decidedly fall-like around here, and how appropriate. It's officially fall now. Temperatures will be hitting highs only in the low 60s through the rest of the week. Here's a look at your Doppler track radar map this morning, and there are some showers to the south and east and a front to our north and west, bringing some shower and thunderstorm activity to parts of northern Minnesota this morning. Those showers to the south, though, are lifting northward, and a few of those may clip far southeastern Wisconsin later today. The WISC-TV Skycam, though, is great this morning. You see the startings of a beautiful sunrise. Sun officially up about 6:45 this morning. Temperatures are in the 50s in most spots. A couple of exceptions, though. 49 in Boscobel and down to 45 this morning in Camp Douglas. So you might want a light jacket early today. Winds are light, though, and won't be a factor through the day. Take a look at your future track forecast model. Temperatures are expected to warm quickly this morning with plenty of sun. For the afternoon, highs in the mid-70s in most spots, so just a little bit warmer than it was yesterday. You see those clouds starting to work their way into far southeastern Wisconsin, along with a few showers possible. Otherwise, for tonight, turning cloudy, staying a little milder with a chance for some rain. That chance for rain then does continue right into Tuesday. Here's a look at your extended forecast. 72 for the high on Tuesday with showers and even a few isolated thunderstorms. Then on Wednesday, it's sweater weather with sunshine and a high of 63. A chance for rain on Thursday and then again for the upcoming weekend, but it looks like highs will stay pretty consistent in the low 60s. Now let's get a look at First Alert traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, it's a quiet start across the roadways here in southern Wisconsin, but a little bit of fog reported in the area. Just make sure to have those headlights on. No problems at all on the Beltline right now. Things are moving well in both directions. No major delays. Looking at some other routes here in Dane County, just a few brake lights are beginning to show up on Stoughton Road approaching the Beltline ramps. No problems at all downtown around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume is not a factor quite yet. Other main routes heading into the city, they're moving along at the usual speeds with no crashes or delays. For your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
All right, thanks, Josh. Thanks, Hattie. 6:14 your time now. Wisconsin has one of the highest rates of death from unintentional falls in the country.
Yeah, it's important to remember that falls are preventable. Here to talk about some of the ways to avoid those injuries is Ruth Meyer from SSM Health and Ashley Hillman from Safe Communities here. Good morning. Thank you guys for waking up with us. I guess, Ruth, I'd love to start with just how much of a problem this is. I mean, when I think falls, I kind of think back to those really dramatic, over-dramatized commercials when you see people, you know, the actors falling down. But what does this problem look like, and what kind of injuries are we talking about here?
Well, we know that people are falling, older adults, 65 and older, at almost epidemic proportion. And 1 out of 4 older adults will fall every year. That translates to about 29 million adults. And we know that every 20 minutes an older adult dies from a fall.
Wow.
Yeah. It's the leading cause of injury and injurious death. So some of the very severe injuries can be hip fractures. 95% of all hip fractures are due to falls, and traumatic brain injury.
Wow. So there are some resources to help out with these things, making sure that you help prevent them from happening in your own home. Talk a little bit about that, Ashley.
Right. Well, we actually have an event coming up tomorrow at St. Mary's Hospital called Only Leaves Should Fall, because only leaves should fall. That's a collaboration with the Dane County Falls Prevention Task Force and Safe Communities. We do this event every year. Unfortunately, we are at a record number of registrations for this year. But we also have lots of classes throughout the county, including Stepping On, which is an evidence-based falls prevention class. Others that we were talking about, Ballroom Basics for Balance, Tai Chi. There are lots of different types of falls prevention or balance classes that people can become involved with that have been proven to reduce the rate of falls.
One important point you all made to us before we met up with you this morning was the fact that, you know, falls don't have to be normal, or shouldn't be normal, you would argue, for older adults. Can you kind of elaborate on what you mean there?
Yeah, that's a common misperception, I think, that as you age, you're going to fall, and that's not the case. That doesn't have to be the case. You shouldn't fall. There are different things that you can do with strength and balance exercises, assessing your home, looking at rugs or lighting, and looking at your medications and vision, footwear. Those are all things that you can look at to try to prevent a fall. Because no, you don't. You shouldn't fall.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
And I'm wondering if we have the information on this. There it is right there. Only leaves should fall. That's what Ashley was mentioning there. So this is an event happening tomorrow, right? Have that right?
Yes.
Excellent. Awesome. It is sold out, but we will have all of this information up as well. And then there's the 7-week Steppin' On classes that they're holding as well. So Safe Communities has all the information up online. And we thank you both for joining us this morning. I know this is an important issue, and 29 million people.
Right.
Yeah.
Good
Thanks for
information.
having us.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Your time right now is almost 6:18, and starting this fall, public health experts at the UW are looking into the effects of social media on kids. They're also going to be looking at how parents' phone and computer habits affect their teens' time on Facebook or Instagram. We will share more about that coming up.
And find some time to get off those screens, maybe. Get out of the office today. Look at that.
Ladies,
gorgeous
this
sunrise.
is the benefit of waking up at this hour right
Take
here.
advantage. We do have chances for rain returning, though. Hattie's going to tell us when News 3 This Morning returns. From a
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. We have clear skies this morning across southern Wisconsin. Take a look from the WISC-TV Skycam or the satellite and radar picture this morning, showing you no clouds in the area. Temperatures are for the most part in the 50s, 52 here in Madison and Monroe, 53 in Platteville, 50 in the Dells. Should be a pretty nice day today. You might want a light jacket this morning at the bus stop with temps in the low 50s, but will warm up quickly to highs in the mid 70s with partly sunny skies this afternoon. Have a wonderful day.
All right, Hattie, thank you so much. 6:22 right now. The University of Wisconsin is partnering with Facebook to study the impact of social media on teenagers. That partnership is part of Facebook's larger initiative to study the relationship between teen well-being and media. Wisconsin Public Radio reports the study will take place over the next year. It will use a national sample of 4,000 to 5,000 teenagers ranging in age from 13 to 18 years old. That research will serve as a base for a secondary, longer-term study. UW-Madison researchers will work with 2 researchers from Facebook. The study, though, will look at all social media sites.
There is new research out this week that shows more kids in Wisconsin are receiving better quality care. Wisconsin Public Radio reports new numbers show nearly 3 out of 4 Wisconsin kids are receiving proficient or high-quality care. Researchers say that's an increase over the past 5 years. Back in 2013, just 56% of kids' programs were rated at 3 stars or higher. There are differences, though, depending on where the child lives in the state. Every year, more than 20,000 women are diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and doctors say only about 15% of their patients find the disease in the early stages when it's easily treatable.
We wanted to introduce you to this woman here, Hortense Momu. Back in 2015, the mother of 2 adult children was pursuing her dream of becoming a nurse when she was blindsided by stage 4 ovarian cancer and the diagnosis she received. 3 years later, she is still fighting and sharing her story to help raise awareness.
I didn't have any previous symptom. I didn't have anything to warn me about it. It was just like that.
Nursing is her second career. She's got grown-up kids. And through it all, she takes classes, she graduates while getting chemotherapy. I mean, it's just an inspirational story. You can't make that up. It's just too good.
Our colleague Eric Franke sat down with Hortense to talk about her journey and how she's providing a sparkle of hope for other survivors. He will share more of their conversation tonight at 10. September, by the way, is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and the UW is hosting an event this weekend to try and provide a sparkle of hope for the people fighting that disease.
Great story. Glad she's sharing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on her.
All right, 6:24 your time now. A health clinic in Janesville is hosting a conference today to talk about mental health treatment and how to make it more accessible to anyone who needs it.
And there's an opportunity to see what the old GM plant property down in Janesville will look like once developers finish their work there. We'll share the day's top stories when News 3 This Morning continues.
The case of the missing millions that were supposed to help pay for Wisconsin road projects might be solved.
Health experts hope to tackle the mental health crisis in a conference today in southern Wisconsin. I'm Josh Brutter, live with why it's such a growing problem right now.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It's 6:28 now on this Monday, September 24th. And it has to be a Monday. It's a gorgeous one out there.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Let's turn it over to Hattie, who is enjoying it and soaking it in this morning. Hads, we do have a little bit of a cool down coming up for our week.
We do, yeah. We have fall-like temperatures returning on Wednesday, but until then, temps will still be hitting highs in the 70s. Hard to see the weekend come to an end. That's always the case, but what a beautiful weekend we had. We start this morning, though, with clear skies across southern Wisconsin. A little bit of fog in some spots. Camp Douglas is reporting visibility at about a half a mile, less than 2 mile visibility in the Wisconsin River Valley near Boscoville. But otherwise, fog is not a widespread issue this morning. Temperatures are generally in the 50s early today, but we'll see a nice warm up through the 60s quickly, back into the mid 70s this afternoon, with a light southeast wind around 5 to 12 miles per hour. So just as nice as it was yesterday. Here's your first alert traffic update this morning. We'll see what's happening on the roads. Things have been pretty quiet so far, and that is the case right now. Volume is still low. No accidents to report. So you're still going at posted speeds if you're heading into Madison right now. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. Appreciate it. Wisconsin's Fiscal Bureau says $47 million in funding for state roads isn't lost. It was just delayed. Wisconsin Public Radio reports that money is from the federal government, and it appeared it wasn't being sent to local transportation departments. That includes here in Madison. The city claimed it was missing about $7 million that was supposed to be used for road projects. The State Department of Transportation said an accounting change caused the issues and the problems. Now the Fiscal Bureau says a delay in the program that distributes the federal funding sparked some of that confusion. The money should be on the way.
People in Madison might be happy to hear they'll get a lower electric bill next year, but for homes that use natural gas too, it's not going to make too much of a difference. The state's Public Service Commission accepted a deal with Madison Gas and Electric last week. It lowers the average bill by about $1.33 a month. But natural gas prices are going to go up over the next 2 years because of that agreement, meaning by 2020, your bill will increase by about $1 a month. Madison's lakes are a little bit cleaner this morning, all thanks to a process invented by researchers over at the UW. Professors in soil science are teaming up with the city's sewage treatment plant to help cut down on the amount of phosphorus in the water. That's important because those nutrients feed algae in our lakes, including the blue-green kind, which can be toxic for people and for pets. The hope is that this kind of program can become standard for wastewater treatment plants across the country.
People living in Janesville will get a preview of what the old General Motors plant property could look like in the future. The Janesville Gazette reports the owner of that property plans to present preliminary redevelopment plans at an open house tomorrow. More than a third of the 25-acre property has been cleared so far. Commercial Development is a company that focuses on redeveloping urban land. It bought the GM plant and the land around it last December. It plans to show off the results of a survey residents were able to take to share their thoughts on how the land should be used. And the company is also hoping to hear some feedback on the plans they've been working on. Tuesday's event is open to the public. 6:31 right now, and like a lot of communities across the state and across the country, Rock County continues to deal with mental health concerns and substance abuse issues. A lot of times those two go hand in hand.
Yeah, the Southern Wisconsin Conference on Mental Health is all about getting more people to talk about those topics. Josh Brutter is live at the Pontiac Center in Janesville, where the summit is happening today. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Organizers are very busy here at the Pontiac Center getting ready for that conference, which begins at 8 o'clock this morning. And it's put on by HealthNet of Rock County. We've got Ian Hedges with us this morning to talk a little bit more about what the conference is about. What can people kind of expect here today?
I think what we can expect is a lot of innovative solutions kind of coming up from different speakers who have been in the field in other places besides southern Wisconsin. And so we hope that the third year of this conference will yield a lot of new tools for clinicians and stakeholders to bring back to better help our community solve the mental health crisis that's going on.
So we hear about that mental health crisis. What does that mean? You know, are the problems getting worse?
Well, I can tell you right now, the top cause of hospitalization in Rock County are psychiatric conditions. addictions. And we have one of the top 10 overdose rates in the state. Rock County does. And so I do believe that while our community is doing a tremendous amount of work to combat the crisis right now, we still have a little ways to go, and we hope to better serve our patients in order to do that.
So your clinic focuses on low-income families. How does that play into the idea of mental health?
You know, despite having insurance coverage or even having Medicaid, not all families can still access mental health services. And so we are actually working and hoping to expand our mental health portfolio in the near future. And we hope that more people can offer more services and more clinicians to serve individuals.
All right, Ian, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good luck today. Again, that conference kicks off here at 8 o'clock this morning at the Pontiac Center in Janesville. We have everything you need to know right now at channel3000.com.
One of the top 10 overdose rates in the state. Important conversation to have. All right, our Josh Breider reporting live this morning. Thanks, Josh.
6:33 right now. FEMA will be in Wisconsin today looking at flood and tornado damage and seeing who might be eligible for federal aid. The details are coming up in the morning sprint.
And I'll be taking this commercial break to stretch, warm up a little bit for my happy dance because Chris is talking about my favorite time of the year. He's looking ahead to autumn and what the weather could look like over the next few months when News 3 This Morning returns.
Welcome back. 6:37 right now on this Monday morning. We always ask you to share your morning with us, and Jen sent this one over. It is the sunburst. She posted this one on our Facebook page. We appreciate it because that just feels nice and warm, doesn't it?
It does, and
It's
we don't
really
need it.
cool.
We already got a sunny day coming
That's
today.
true. That's true. Yeah.
This is a little sneak peek preview.
There you go. Thank you, Jen, for sharing.
Thanks for sharing, Jen. Take a picture, post it on our Facebook page if you'd like us to show your picture here on the program. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We like to share our favorites every morning on News 3 This Morning. All right, 6:38 your time now. We have reached the halfway point in our Coats for Kids campaign, helping to keep kids in our area warm this winter. We're up to 1,467 coats so far. We want to take a minute and thank everyone who's donated, and to thank Clinky Cleaners. They're collecting all of these donations and cleaning them for free before they're given to our neighbors in need. That's a huge job, and we really appreciate it. Also, a reminder, you still have time to donate. All right, before we get too excited about winter and snow, excited being the optimal word there, fall weather comes first.
Yeah, meteorologist Chris Reese is looking ahead to what this season will bring weather-wise, and we're hoping, Chris, that you have some good news for us.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've always got to start with what we've got going on right now in the here and now. And that's, of course, the fact that temperatures have been cooler than average since that cold front came through on Friday. And as we go through the next week and some change, that's generally the same trend that we are going to see across the upper Midwest. Those temperatures being cooler than average. And that's going to last likely into the next 2 weeks as well. Here's the deal. Down south, they're going to have a ridge of heat keeping their temperatures warmer. And between that, from the plains through the Midwest and into the Ohio Valley, that's going to be the battle zone. And so that's the region where we'll likely see a lot more in the way of rainfall. So as we go through the next week and change, we're looking at precipitation that's likely going to be above average. Then you go through the next 2 weeks, and it's that same trend that continues. So with the next 2 weeks underway, and now we can begin to look ahead. Here's how the next 3 months tend to play out. Now, a lot of this will be influenced by what is known as El Nino as you get 3 months out. And that usually brings a lot of rain across the southern tier of the country. Here in the Midwest, we'll have an equal chance of either being rainy or dry. Temperature-wise with El Nino in the fall, we tend to be above normal in terms of temperature, and so that's the 3-month expectation. However, there is one thing that could drive a wrench in all of that. These are sea surface temperature anomalies, or how far above average they are. You have these warmer than normal waters over the Gulf of Alaska, and what that oftentimes does is promotes a ridge of high pressure. This sends the jet stream up and over that, and then it dislodges a lot of that cooler air over Canada and sends that down southward. We'll notice that oftentimes in the winter. Now, if this is a pattern that takes hold, you end up with cooler than normal temperatures. And here's some of those cold fronts coming in now, and then here's the one by next weekend. And that's a trend that we will likely continue to see as we go through the next week and some change. But if that continues over the next couple of months, then fall as a whole will turn out to be cooler than normal as opposed to warmer than normal. So when you look at these forecasts, one of the things to look at, we call it bust potential. What is the possibility that your forecast can be wrong? This is one of those. Although we expect a warmer than normal fall as of now, the current pattern suggests things being cooler. And if you have a lot of these cold fronts coming through, you end up pretty wet as well with that battleground. So we'll keep a close eye on it.
It's always so hard to tell with this. I know we all want to know, or at least have some indication of what to prepare for, what new clothes to buy, whatever, but it is so tough.
It really is tough, especially looking 3 months out. You know, you can get the overall pattern, and the overall pattern for fall is one that's active. You know, that's just kind of how it looks, but it's hard to get those day-by-day details from this point.
Sure. We're all looking forward to fall regardless, I think.
Give me a couple days of sun.
It's still enough for beautiful weather and beautiful color.
There you go.
So, yeah.
We appreciate it. Thanks, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, not quite feeling like fall today with the warmer weather continuing. Hattie says temperatures are going to stay in the 70s, but we will cool off later in the week. She'll have your first alert forecast when News 3 This Morning continues.
First, though, it is September 24th, and we want to say happy birthday to Kerrigan. Look at that dress.
Aww.
Good dress, girlfriend. Hayden and all of the kiddos turning 3 today. Thank you so much for letting us help you celebrate on News 3 This Morning.
Look
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. Fall started this weekend and right on cue. Take a look at this picture that Jerry Davis sent in. This was taken Saturday morning in one of the lower spots in the area. A light frost occurred on some of those green leaves with temperatures, even though they were in the 40s in most spots. Take a look at that low temperature trend. I don't have any terribly cold temperatures coming up in the forecast. May do a little something to squash the number of mosquitoes that we have around, though, as temperatures fall into the low and mid 40s for several nights in a row this week. Here's a look at your fall color report. Just starting to see some peaks of color here across southern Wisconsin, but generally not much here. Central part of Wisconsin, though, is starting to see about 25 to 50% color in some spots and even higher in the far northwestern corner of the state. Probably some pretty good color in the Duluth and Superior areas this morning. But again, as we go through the coming weeks with nice sunshine during the day and cool nights, should see more of those leaves start to change color. Here's a look at your satellite and radar trends. We have one batch of precipitation to our south and east, clear here in between, and then another front to the north and west. Now through the day today, these clouds are expected to lift northward, and some of those may clip far southeastern Wisconsin. The front to our north and west, though, isn't going to move too quickly. We have another day or so before that arrives. So take a look at your future track forecast model. Again, those clouds moving into southeastern Wisconsin, but most of the area sticking with lots of sunshine through the day today. That cold front still later today, well off to our north and west. Now, as it begins to move into the state, look for clouds in the forecast overnight tonight, and then for tomorrow, scattered showers as well as a few isolated thunderstorms will be possible. Looks like that entire system, though, clears the area by Wednesday morning, so good sunshine returning for the middle of the week. Temperatures this morning are generally in the 50s from Michigan all the way back into Minnesota and Iowa this morning. A little cool here in Madison with 52 degrees. 50 in the Dells, down to 44 now in Camp Douglas. Winds are light from the south and east, and they'll expect it to stay light through the day today. Your Pinpoint City forecast has highs in the mid 70s in many spots, 74 in Evansville, 73 in Stoughton, and 75 in Beloit this afternoon. To the west, just as nice. Partly sunny skies, 75 in Prairie du Chien, Muscadet, and Richland Center. And to the north, 73, a pretty popular number from Necedah, all the way over to Princeton. Here in Madison, we'll top at 74 degrees. Lots of sunshine expected through the day today. And then for tonight, the clouds roll in. Chances for rain across the area tomorrow with a high of 72. Looks like it will be dry on Wednesday, but you'll notice a difference in the temperature. It will definitely feel like fall, with highs then in the lower 60s. Here's a look at our Pet Walk forecast. Look at Milo in Peckwaukee. The right idea. You need the shades today.
Yeah.
How long those shades stayed on is my question.
I don't know, but the dog looks pretty happy.
Yeah, he does.
He's looking cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Way to go. Milo.
Yeah, who knows?
Whatever it is. All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The morning sprint is up next.
6:51 time now for the morning sprint. Hattie has a gorgeous day ahead of rain chances and cooler temperatures this week.
And Josh Breiter is talking about how leaders in Janesville are addressing mental health concerns at a conference today. But we start in Middleton. That's where 2 victims from Wednesday's shooting at WTS Paradigm are out of the hospital. A third person is still there, upgraded though from critical to fair condition. The shooter, WTS employee Anthony Tong, was killed in crossfire with police. Officers confiscated hundreds of rounds of ammunition and gun accessories from his home last week. A 2004 affidavit shows Tong's concealed carry license was revoked that year for mental health reasons.
Lawyers and immigration advocates in Madison are looking for ways to support the immigrant community this morning. The group Voces de la Frontera says that there have been at least 9 immigration enforcement arrests in the city so far. Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says that the ICE usually notifies the department when they're in the city, but the agency did not do that in this latest time.
Officers up in Columbia County are investigating whether drugs or alcohol caused a crash that killed 3 people outside Wisconsin Dells Saturday night. Police think an SUV blew through a stop sign and hit an oncoming truck there. All 3 people in the SUV were killed. Officers say they weren't wearing seatbelts. The 2 people in the truck had to be airlifted to the hospital. There's no word on their condition yet this morning.
I'm Josh Breiter live at the Pontiac Center in Janesville, where the Southern Wisconsin Conference on Mental Health kicks off in just over an hour. The conference is put on by HealthNet of Rock County, which is a free clinic providing services to low-income, uninsured Rock County residents. Officials say Rock County has one of the top 10 overdose rates in the state right now. One of the topics being discussed is the role substance abuse plays in mental health. The Rock County Human Services Department says in 2016, more than 200 people received screenings for substance abuse. Of those, 46% were of heroin or opiates and 38% for alcohol abuse. The conference runs from 8 to 3:30 today. You can find ticket information at channel3000.com.
And we start with clear skies this morning. The sun is up. Take a look at the WISC-TV Skycam picture. You can see sunshine and clear skies. It's going to be a beautiful day today. Temperatures will climb quickly this morning. We're headed back into the mid-70s today, right around 74 degrees later on this afternoon. Rain is back in the forecast, though, tomorrow.
Thank you, Hattie. The president's Supreme Court nominee is now denying 2 sexual misconduct allegations as he prepares to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee this week. 53-year-old Deborah Ramirez told the New Yorker magazine that Brett Kavanaugh exposed himself to her at a party when they were freshmen at Yale. A woman named Christine Blasey Ford already accused Kavanaugh of groping her at a high school party back in the 80s. She and Kavanaugh are scheduled to testify on Thursday.
The sentencing hearing for Bill Cosby's sexual assault case starts today. He was convicted earlier this year of drugging and molesting a woman back in 2004. The 81-year-old is facing upwards of 30 years in prison. His lawyers are asking that he be kept at home because of his age and other health problems. More than 60 women have now accused Cosby of sexual misconduct.
President Trump is set to impose tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods this morning. In response, China has promised taxes on $60 billion worth of American products. Meanwhile, the president will be in New York City all week for the United Nations General Assembly. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says NAFTA talks will likely resume at that meeting. President Trump's administration initially set an October 1st deadline for renegotiating that deal. Canada is Wisconsin's biggest foreign trade partner, accounting for nearly a third of the state's exports.
After the historic flooding we saw this summer, government workers will start assessing storm damage across the state today. Local and county officials will be escorting federal emergency management teams to take a look at damage in 17 different counties in the state. Officials say folks don't need to be home for their damage to be verified. Damage estimates across the state are in the millions.
The Janesville Gazette reports the owner of the old General Motors plant will present preliminary plans at an open house on Tuesday. More than a third of that 25-acre property has been cleared. The company that bought the GM plant last December plans to share the result of a resident survey and gather more feedback. Tuesday's event is open to the public.
Packers head coach Mike McCarthy is definitely going to be talking about one of his star players today after his 3rd roughing the passer call in 3 weeks. Clay Matthews was called for that penalty yet again in yesterday's game against Washington after sacking quarterback Alex Smith. Green Bay lost the game 28 to 17. He told reporters afterward that he understands why the rules were changed in the offseason to protect quarterbacks from dangerous hits, But he says the NFL is getting soft and is going in a direction a lot of people don't like.
6:56 right now. Let's turn it over one more time to Josh Tim with a look at your first alert traffic. Good morning, Josh.
Morning. Picking up on the westbound side of the Beltline, one patch of slowdowns now between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. It's going to add a couple minutes to your drive. A few brake lights on inbound John Olin at Rimrock, Olin Avenue, and North Shore Drive with a few minute delay heading into the downtown area. And other main routes leading into the city, they're cruising along at the usual speeds right now with no major crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
And we are starting off with clear skies early this morning. Temperatures are in the 50s. Here's a live look from the Clearview Radio Sky Cam. Clear there as well. Temperatures will warm quickly today with a light southeast wind. We'll top in the mid-70s this afternoon. Temperatures are going to cool down as we go through the rest of the week, though. We're back to highs in the 60s by the time we hit Wednesday.
Going to be a gorgeous day ahead.
It really is. Can't wait.
Thanks, Hattie.
Soak it all in and enjoy it, and we will see you back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Have a great one.